A really quick tutorial on just some basic JavaScript concepts and web development concepts. So I have my code editor here, Visual Studio Code. If you need to download it, if you don't already have it installed, just search up VS Code download Visual Studio Code. It's completely free. I am on Windows, so click that, go through the installer, boom boom boom, up and running. So I'm just gonna right click new file for the moment. This is just an app I was making. Actually, I'm going to show you the app real quick. It's made with React.js, so it has like the register, like the login. I don't have my backend running at the moment, so I won't open it, but like you can log in, register using we have SQL in the database and all that. Anyway, back to the tutorial. So new file, I did create a new file. No, I didn't. Right click new file, name your file. So JavaScript, you want to have a JS file extension, so I'm going to say hello.js. right now, here's just an introduction to some important things. You want to have I'm going to show you console log first. This is just a function that goes inside. Like, I'll show you the console in a second. So hello, and I'll show you what this does. Now this is a comment, so you press / on your keyboard to make a comment. So this doesn't actually get run, this code, but if I go console.log hello, and now, by the way, this thing at the bottom is known as the terminal. You can press Ctrl J, keyboard shortcut, and that'll pop up, and it basically lets you run all node commands and npm commands and things like that. So I'm gonna go and show you what this does in the console in your developers tool. So if you press F12 on your thing and then you go to console and you just Control V, press, and it shows hello. So it logged out on the console there. Just zoom into it there. So basically what this is doing is it's logging out like the input that you put in, which is hello. So if you wanted a console log an error, say, this is why it's so useful, because it lets you find errors in your program, or like console log data error. If there was an error for, say, it'll just log it out for you. Now on to the next one. So these are just your values. So things in JavaScript evaluate the different things. This is known as a expression because it produces a value which will give you 9. Next one is strings. You just double quotes hello, and if you wanted to store that inside of a variable, you can go var, give the variable a name. Bananas is equal to hello bananas, yeah. And now if we were to go into our console, log that in, and then we call on bananas, it will give us hello. So that's how you store values. Think of it like a cupboard or a drawer. It'll just keep your value nice and safe and snug for you while you go off somewhere else and do something, and it just keep that stored so you can call upon it. Next one is, actually let me show you 2 other ways to declare a variable. So it's let, this is the new way, so you wouldn't actually be using var anymore, that was the old way. Now let is if you want to change the value in future of the variable. If you want to reassign it, equals hello. So you can actually reassign the variable using let, but with const you can't reassign a variable. So if you want something to stay the same, you'd use const, like if you never want the value to change. Hello. Let me show you what I mean. Control V, undefined, right? Now if we try to reassign the value same, equals ball, let me just fix that for a sec, equals ball, assignment to constant variable, you can't do that. But with let, which is something that you actually need to copy and paste in let bananas, you can actually reassign this. So let me go Control V, nope, Control V. I want to zoom out. Let me make this bigger. That's a bit too big. How do I, there we go, that's it, that's a shot. Now let me reassign bananas. Let's see how this works. Equals to, you can reassign it by doing the equal sign, by the way. Happy bananas equals happy. See, you could reassign that, you don't get any errors. And that was some basic stuff. Just declare variables and console.log, which is something you'll be using very often, and then you can just add numbers as well. Let me show you a few values you'll be using in JavaScript. So you have true, false, which are known as booleans. Boolean is a value which evaluates true or false. You have type of, which is show the type of certain thing. 5, let me show you this. Type of 5 will give you a number because it's a number, whereas type of hello will give you string because it's a string. Just shows you the type of the thing you're working with. What are some other really handy functions that you'd be using really often? Oh, comment down below if you know any functions that you really use on a daily basis. I know I use a good few, but I think it might be a bit too advanced for a beginner's tutorial. So anyway, like, definitely I recommend Visual Studio Code as an IDE. It just has so many awesome features, so I recommend downloading that and just practicing the syntax. Just go over what we did in this video if you wish, and there's so many tutorials on YouTube. Like, there's a guy called Mosh, if you search him up, he makes awesome tutorials. So that's all for today. I'll see you in the next one.